Okay, hopefully you all wrote down your intentions, your gratitudes, and really started your day strong for this Tuesday, December 8th. Can you believe it? We're in December already. Okay, so one of the things that what I wanted to cover today was something that some of you might, if you're an analytical, you might think, woohoo, we're going to talk about market statistics. If you're not like me and you think about market statistics, you might think, oh, that's a terrible subject for morning ascent. But I want to just read a couple of our affirmations. Couple affirmations that we read every morning together is, I am a real estate expert. And the second one is my clients expect me to be their real estate expert. So today I'm going to help you with your confidence to make sure that you have all your market statistics in place. And I promise, whether you're analytical or whether you're a driver or an expressive or an amiable, no matter what personality style you are, these market statistics are going to be so easy for you that you're going to be able to do this on a monthly basis and not feel like it's a chore. Okay, so when I learned to do this, numbers for me just aren't important. I'm a gal that just kind of does things by the seat of her pants. I'm not worried about much about numbers. But when I was taught to do my market statistics, it really brought things home for me. It made me talk in a different way, made me able to express different things that we're going to talk about after I give you the market statistics. We're going to talk about where we can use this and why they're important. So today is going to be one of the days. I have my chat box up here on the right. So if you see me looking this way, I guess to you guys, it looks like I'm looking to the left. That means I'm looking at the chat. I'm going to be looking for participation today. There's going to be questions. I'll give enough time for you to type in. So let's get started. All right, so first what I'm going to do very simply is I'm going to give you the criteria that you need to pull for which market statistics. These are my suggestions. You can add different ones if you'd like, but these are the 6 that I feel are the most important. I think it's 6. We'll see how many we end up with as I finish this. Again, working from the seat of my pants, right? Okay, so let's get started. One of the things you want to do is every month, you want to run your monthly statistics. And so when you sit down, so it would be, say, November is over, you're sitting down December 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. Please don't wait too many more days than that. But December 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, when you're on your MLS, I want you to run how many current listings are active right now. And I know there's going to be questions on what areas and all of that. I'll go into detail about what areas and how to pull it. But for right now, I just want to give you the list. Okay, so for actives, I want you to pull how many are currently active the moment you're sitting at your MLS December 1st and you're pulling the stats. Okay, what's active? Then this next one is about actives, but it's about what new listings came on the market in November 1st through November 30th. So what new listings, how many new listings came on the market the month before, the previous 30 days? So first one is active currently. And the next one is pull how many homes came on the market November 1st through November 30th. I'm not sure how you do it in your MLSs. If you're not sure how in the MLS I used to use, I literally could put T minus 30, or I could put November 1st through November 30th. Okay, so you'll just have to figure out how to do that in your MLS. The third item is pending. How many listings went pending in the last 30 days? So for the next few criteria, it's the 30 days. Actives were really the only ones for current. So the third one is how many listings went pending November 1st through November 30th. The fourth one is how many closed, went to the closing table, exchanged keys. How many closed November 1st through November 30th. The fifth one is how many homes expired November 1st through November 30th. And guys, I know right now we're not getting a lot of expireds, but as you build this, it will tell a story. We're going to talk about that. So how many expired November 1st through November 30th? Then I want you to pull how many average days on market those pendings were. So the ones that went under contract in November, how long were they on the market? What was the average days on market for those pendings? The next one is the number of price changes. So price reductions. Again, I know right now there's not a lot of price reductions in most of our markets, and that's okay. I still want you to have the trend. So how many number of price reductions happen November 1st through November 30th? And then the next one is the percentage. What was the percentage of price increase or decrease November 1st through November 30th? Okay, so you can see we're showing people how many are active, what's happening, what homes are, how many are selling, and this is just a total number. And then how many are closing, and then what's the change in the market, what's going on in the pricing, because that's what everybody wants to know, days on market, what's going on in their neighborhood. Now, I first want to ask, and this will be time for a chat, is who could describe what is the difference between a market statistic, because now today we're talking just about market stats. What's the difference between a market statistic and a comp that we pull? So I'll wait for someone to type in the chat box. What's the difference between a market statistic and a comp that we do, our CMA? Come on, I know I have some smart people in this group. So market stat is more current. Stats are for a large area. Both of those are correct. Anybody else? Comps are specific to the house you are comping. Stats are general market. There we go. Comp is an opinion of value. Statistic happened. Excellent. So those are all exactly right. So that's the difference. You always obviously want to still do your CMA, but having your market statistics will then give you the broader picture of what has already happened. It's statistics, it's facts, what happened for your area. Okay, comps are very much about a neighborhood. There's a miles of radius that are allowed in CMAs and in appraisals. A market statistic can be for a broad and should be for a broad market. So for like myself, I worked in the Michigan suburbs of Detroit market, and there were 3 counties, and it was just commonly called the tri-counties. So when I ran my market stats every month, every quarter, I did it for the tri-counties. Now, somebody in Wayne County is going to think Macomb and Oakland County are completely different. It was okay. I explained that to them, that the reason I chose the tri-counties is sometimes someone from Wayne County would move to Oakland County. And because we bordered each other, these counties, we needed to make sure that we knew what was going on all around us. It all applied. So for me, the reason I did it was that. And also I wasn't going to run 3 different counties that I worked in because that was too much work. I had to figure out who to send it to if I was sending this out. So keep it really simple. So in Utah, do it for, the Utah area that you work in. If you're in California, again, it can be more than one place. Market stats are for broad. Okay, any questions about that? Okay, and John, you asked how to pull price changes. That's something you'll have to check with your MLS because I don't know each MLS, so my apologies for that. You'll just have to figure out how you do a price reduction, how it shows up on your MLS. Okay, so let's get back to, you're going to pull it for a broad area. Choose your market, and that is your market, and that's what you're going to use. Okay, so let's talk about when we pull market stats. Where do you think you'll be able to use these numbers? So now you're going to be able to have, and I have an example, someone on my coaching schedule made up just an Excel spreadsheet. They don't have all the numbers that I gave you today, but what they did is they have the numbers, the example of what criteria they were pulling, and they also then did for January, February, so you can do it for each month. So if you're doing it in Excel, you could have it all of the criteria that we just talked about. And then you have different columns, January through December. And frankly, if you haven't ever done this, I would go back a year or 2 and try to pull this so that you have a story of what's going on in the market. Okay, so that's just an example. I know I could have done a screen share, but I'm not that technical. So I'm just going to show you my page. Okay. All right, because what you're going to do is you're going to use these numbers. And so that's what I want to talk about next. Where do you think these numbers can be used? So we're pulling all of these criterias: active, new listings in the last 30 days, pendings in the last 30 days, closed the last 30 days, expireds the last 30 days, averaged days on market for the pendings in the last 30 days, number of price changes, and also the percentage of how much prices are going up and down. Where can we use these numbers? So again, I'll wait for the list. So yes, right at your listing presentation. Anytime talking to people, correct. Anybody else? I use the numbers in my my monthly email to my SOI. Okay, great. Any other? It makes a sound acknowledgement anytime, it makes you sound knowledgeable anytime you talk to somebody. Okay, good. So that's exactly right. And if you guys want to keep putting more on there, but you want to use it at your listing presentation. So if someone, I know again right now, prices are what they are, but I would say that people still are wanting to price their home more than they should. So if you're using this statistic, these statistics, you can say to them, well, let's look at the trend. Let's look at the trend to see if we price your home here, we should be here, we price your home here, how is that going to affect you on days on market? How might it affect you for an expired? So you can use these numbers as a story, a third party story, something that's already happened on where they should price their homes correctly. Okay. So listing presentation. What happens if you don't price it right the first time? You might need to use it in a price reduction. So I know, again, homes are selling fast, but I was in the home market just back in May, and I know that there's a couple homes that are still on the market that I was looking at back in May because the people are so out of the realm of where the market still is. This is where you can use it. You can say to them, look, homes are selling. We're on an upward trend compared to last year. We're in an upward trend even from May. Why do you think your home is one of the ones that hasn't sold? And you can use this so that they can see price increase, price decrease, so that you can then show them the CMA, combine them together, and that their price was still too high. Okay, so listing presentation and price reduction. So John wrote also to compare this from last year. That's exactly right. So it's a good indication for them to see what's going on. And we'll talk about this time of year in a minute. The other place you can use it is when you're working with a buyer. So let's say you are going to present an offer to a home that they are out of the realm of where pricing is, even in today's market. So you could send these statistics, and I know this can get a little itchy with some agents. So when you send over your offer, I'm assuming you guys are talking to agents before you send an offer. You can say to them, I'm also going to be sending over some market statistics that I use along with the CMA, but I'm going to send over some market statistics I used with my buyer so that your sellers can see why we're offering what we're offering off of the list price. So it can give them the idea, because let's face it, not a lot of agents pull these numbers. Not a lot of agents work in the numbers. They're just working on emotion and what people want. This is going to give you even a clearer picture when you combine it with the CMA on what's going on in the market. So you can actually present it when you present for your buyer, you can send it along with your offer and your CMA. Okay. Then you may have to use it also for your own buyer. Okay. You may have a listing that you tested the market. You may have a listing, let's face it, sometimes we price a home right where we think it's supposed to be priced, and for some reason it doesn't sell, even in this market. It's rare, but it can happen. So this is another place you can go back to the market statistics. We listed your home in October. Most homes, you can see average days on market are 10, and we're still on the market. Let's talk about what's happening and why you're not fitting into this market statistic trend. What's happening just brings it together. Okay. Now, you can also use this, like I believe it was John, someone said that you can use it when you're talking to your SOI. One of the things that I would be careful with your SOI is that when you talk to them and use these statistics, I don't want you to regurgitate all of them, right? You don't want to say, I'm calling today to let you know there's, this many thousand actives and last month this many came on them. You don't need to do the whole shebang. But you could say something like, I'm calling with your quarterly update. I'm calling with your customer service. You could use it in your weekly customer service as well. And say, I'm calling because I just want to let you know I run my stats every month because the market's changing all the time. And I want to let you know we're seeing an upward trend in this part of our market and a steady trend in this part of our market. So just give them little bits. If it's an SOI and you're seeing there's a trend where it's still a seller's market, talk to them about that. I'm still seeing that there's a seller's market trend even during the holidays. Who do you know that might be waiting to sell that should be on the market? So you can use it in talking points, just don't use all the points to do your talking, okay? All right, so we can use it in our listing presentation. We can use it in price reductions. We can do it when we're presenting for a buyer. We can use it when we get a lower offer to our buyer. We can talk to our SOI. And this is also an item. Let's say people say, well, I don't want to really list during the holidays because, nothing sells. Guys, if you have this from this year and last year and the year before, as you start to build this, you will have a yearly, just like John said, a yearly picture. And you can say, well, let's go back and look at all of the Decembers. Look at all of the Novembers. So you can see we're still selling a lot of homes. Less homes are coming on the market, but almost as many homes are selling. And you'll be able to see it right here. You won't have to pull numbers every holiday. You won't have to pull every numbers every summer, whatever the reason is that someone thinks now isn't a good time. It could be during election, right? I had done this for so many years. I could go back every 4 years to see when elections, and people would say, well, I don't want to do it. I want to wait till the elections are over. Well, I could go back to September, October, November, December of all of those 4 years and be able to show it to them and say, is there really a change? Is there really a reason not to do it? Or is there a reason to do it? And you can use these market statistics. Okay, so if there's any questions about market stats, put them in the chat box. Okay, so I want to review a couple things. You're going to use this, you're going to run them every month. If you are in coaching and you have a coach, if you're not, you have your manager that's a coach. If you have an accountability partner, my suggestion is start today. I know it's the 8th, but you can still run the numbers from November 1st to November 30th. If you're the type of person that doesn't want to run the numbers for a year back or 2 years back, I get it. But it will help you if you take the time to do it. If you have an assistant, teach them how to do it and do it. What I used to also do is in my MLS, I would save these searches. I would save the search. So every month I didn't have to, I know it sounds silly, but I didn't have to type in all 6, 7 of these items. I had a search for what's currently active. I had a search for how many new listings there were in the last 30 days. It hit all of those numbers. So set it up in a search. That way you don't have to do it at each time. So make sure you have that done for you. And then all you have to do is plug the numbers in. Okay. And I know our company gives, and a lot of the companies give fancy charts and all of that. You can use those, but guys, running these numbers and keeping it simple really does a lot when you're showing it to a seller or when you're showing it to a buyer. It makes a bigger impact when they can see what it looks like just in very simple numbers, nothing complicated about this. Okay. Now, let me ask you, when you start to pull these numbers on a monthly basis, how is it going to help you as a real estate agent? Okay, yeah, that's right. So demand is up, John said, exactly. So when you run these numbers, let me ask you, how is this going to help you as a real estate agent? There's a couple places or reasons. What will it help you with? Come on, guys, a little more participation. Confidence in knowing the market. You do this every month. I mean, it becomes, again, me not being a numbers person, because I ran this every month, it just was, you just can't help but know what the numbers are. So when someone gives you an objection, you can easily and with confidence say to them, if I were you, I'd feel the same way. And because I hear that so often, I run my market stats every single month. And this is what's going on in the market. You look knowledgeable, keeps up to date on the market. So again, our affirmations from every morning is, I am a real estate expert, and my clients expect me to be their real estate expert. This will put you in that affirmation. You won't just be saying that affirmation anymore. You will become that affirmation. So really make sure that you've got these numbers. And if anybody has any questions, I can give them to you. Let's see what Erin Mailer says. She says, being educated is key in every aspect. Knowledge is power. Other agents aren't doing this. And if they meet with other agents, they'll recognize the difference. Guys, I'm telling you, if you get into the habit of doing this and you can keep these statistics year after year after year after year, you will look different than other agents. So thank you, Erin. That is completely true. Talking points and business strategies for buyers and sellers. So that is again from John. Yep. And Julie said you'll be able to respond to a seller or buyer concerns more easily. And again, it's that confidence. You're going to know what's going on in the market. Keep it simple. You can have, if you want to take some of these out, I think these are the most important. And if you want to add any, be careful not to add too many. These are just the ones that show people the trend. Now, if our market starts to change and you start to see more pendings than actives, then that's where you can start to see the trend that it's starting to become a buyer's market. So you really want to just be able to watch those numbers and talk about them. Okay. All right. So guys, market stats, keep them in a file, keep them, whether it's paper, whether it's on, if you present on your computer, my suggestion is get it on paper. Show it to somebody so you can go back and easily have your sheet and say, now this is this year, and you can stack them. That's what I used to stack them and say, this is January for this year, January for last year, January for the year before that, and the year before that. And you can see the trend. It's really quite amazing when you look at it that way. Okay, any questions? All right. So I hope my promise came true, that for analyticals, woohoo, excited to do it. For everybody else, I hope it was simple enough that this is going to make it so that you can become and stay the expert in your market. So again, I appreciate you all being here. I appreciate the privilege of being able to share with you. And let's go make it a great day. Let's end with our affirmations for today.